This is Bud Cooper from Mutilator and Mutilator 2, and you're listening to Moose's Monster Mash.
You're listening to Moose's Monster Mash.
Welcome, Horror Hounds, to another all-new episode of Moose's Monster Mash. I'm your host, Moose, and today we're going to talk about a new holiday horror film that make you just want to hop around a little. That's right, we're talking about the new film Easter Bloody Easter, available today on video on demand. Now, I can't tell you too much because it just came out, so you're going to have to go watch it. But it's a fun, goofy movie. It doesn't take itself too seriously. There are some fun character arcs in it. There are characters that you really look forward to watching them die. There's a couple that you may or may not want to die. The cinematography's fun. It's just a good, fun holiday film about a jackalope ravaging this small town in Texas. Now, this is a small, crazy Texas town. The characters are all a little over the top. I think you guys will enjoy it. This movie really is a whodunit, because you try to find out who the jackalope is before the end of the movie, because you find out that the jackalope is somebody in the town, and they became a jackalope much like you become a werewolf. So now it's all eyes on everybody, and the whole movie's centered around the Easter celebration. What can go wrong? Well, then the murders start happening, and no one wants to take in the warning seriously, traditional horror stuff. But it's enough of my thoughts. I had a chance to talk with star of the film and director of the film, Diane Foster. Let's go over to that, and here now with the director and star of Easter, Bloody Easter, Diane Foster. How's it going?
I am doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just watched it last night. No, I guess it'd be technically this morning because it was after 2. So I have questions. More than I can unpack in a 20-minute session. So I do want to invite you back on later to deep dive, and we'll talk more about your career and your company. But
Sure.
I guess my first question is, when you set out to do this movie, what was your vision for this film?
Love that. I really wanted to make a film that people could enjoy for an hour and a half. Just go away for an hour and a half to a zany place called Walburg, Texas, and have some fun. I really wanted people to have a good time, especially around an Easter holiday. We have so many great films around other holidays, and there are a few certainly at Easter, but this was something I felt, especially right after I read the script, and I know Kelly and Allison so well, and we've known each other for years. It was really, I really wanted people to be able to watch this with their friends, their families, and have it be something that everyone could watch, that it wasn't just like one specific type of audience. I wanted people to really dive into the comedy elements, because to me, it's really comedy horror as opposed to horror comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I really, honestly and truly, at the end of the day, I'm an entertainer at heart. I did a lot of theater growing up. So for me, taking people away and entertaining them for an hour and a half was the goal. It was like, I just want people to have a great time. Um, so yeah.
Well, I think you hit it. Um,
You.
no, I really liked the movie, and there's, I mean, ultimately, yeah, there's some low spots, but that's with any movie. I mean, you have to have that roller coaster of, I mean, it can't just be adrenaline all the whole time. But
Sure.
with it, it's there are definitely, and this is one of my favorite parts. There are definitely characters you want to see die,
Yes.
which from a horror aspect is amazing because you're at that point you're waiting. You're like, when's this going to happen? It has to happen. Please let it
Yeah.
happen. And then you have your character, and I don't want to go too much into that, but your character has a really interesting story arc and and character development through the film. So that's fun to watch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, she's sort of like this. She has to ride the line of like very kind of straight and kind of like screw the world because everybody else is crazy town and they're zany and wild, and she
Very
has to be
crazy
the
town.
opposite. Yes, and she has to be the opposite of that in order for it to, I think, really play and also to be believable. So it was fun to play her. I mean, there's a lot to unpack with Jeanie.
Well, and I will say, when we first meet her, she's kind of at like her lowest. And
Yep.
that's one of the things she has to overcome is she has to, crawl out of rock bottom and become this different, stronger, better person to survive. And
Yeah.
that was really awesome.
Thank you so much. I love that. And I love that you saw that and you felt that transition from her. And I think it really speaks to, just kind of owning yourself and finding yourself. And I love that takeaway. Thank you so much. That's so cool. She was fun to play.
You mentioned this is a comedy horror. There's one aspect of, I guess, church life that you nailed, and I could not stop laughing. And it was when, and I'm terrible with names, but it was the head of the church committee and the person
Hmm.
running against her were,
Yeah, Mary Lou and Annie Sue.
yeah, Mary
Hmm.
Lou and Annie Sue. Whenever they would get face to face, it was very much hate you, just make it look nice to their face, but
Yep.
it is very much I will stab you in the back. Do not get in my way. And
Yes.
every church I've ever been a part of, that is such a core part of that overachieving, like,
Yep.
I guess, church mom. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is amazing.
That's so funny. I'm so glad. And it's true. And I think, that's the other thing is like I really want audiences to feel like they know these people. And when we were making the film, when I got my colorist on board to come on board and color the film in post-production, he watched the film and he loved it so much. And he said, he goes, I'm from Georgia and I know those women so well. He said, I actually know those women. And I was like, I'm so happy to hear that. He's like, to your face, they're this, that, the other, and then, oh, bless your heart and all this stuff. And he's like, and they're like, put a shiv down your back the moment you turn around. And he said, I love that you really explored that because it's so real and it's so realistic. And, you have to. I mean, this is a town of, how many in Wahlberg, Texas, So I think exploring those ideas was really fun and they really brought it. I mean, all those characters, they're so funny. They loved doing that to each other too.
So Why Texas?
So I think, what a lot of people don't know is that the script and sort of the characters and where they came from is 6 years in the making. 6 years ago, Allison, who played Mary Lou, and Kelly, who played Carol, and we did a play together in Beverly Hills, and then we took that play to San Francisco. And it was about three women from Texas. And we loved working together so much that we were going to continue doing the play, but then the pandemic hit. And we were like, well, we can't do live theater anymore. What can we do? And because I have such a long experience producing films, I was like, let's make a film because we love working together so much. It'll be so much fun. So we kind of took the idea of those characters that we felt we loved playing, taking the idea of Texas, because it takes place in Texas. And it's such a fun thing. I think between, a little bit of having a little bit of a Texas accent, and then also, the characters that you can create in this small town. I think we really wanted to explore that. And we were like, this is going to be a lot of fun because we can really go there and people will believe it because it's this small town, Texas town, and they're all crazy. So that's really why we decided on Texas. And it was so fun because, between the costumes and all that stuff, we could go there and create, Eugene with his 10-gallon hat, and it's too big for his head. It's just like his ears are poking out. I mean, it's just too fun.
Well, and the reason I asked is, because I would say 90% of everything that happened for a small town Texas is believable in small town Texas in 2024, 2020. But you have a very diverse cast.
Mm-hmm.
And putting that diverse cast in a super small town in Texas that's very accepting, seems strange. Great, but
yeah,
it's just would this happen? I mean, it's a small nitpick. Don't get me wrong, and not even a nitpick, just
No, I love that.
Because
yeah, no, I love that.
It's just one of those things that, if it were a bigger city, it's definitely seen as more progressive. But
Sure.
I live in Nebraska, but you get out into small town Nebraska, and yeah, the same thing's going to happen where it's it's hit and miss. So as you're watching this, you're like,
right.
Would Mary Lou really be that accepting of her friend?
Right, exactly. No, and I love that you bring that up. I think it's actually really important because I wanted people to not feel while they were watching that was something that they needed to either accept or not accept, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And by that, what I mean is I wanted it to be so, I wanted the town and the movie to be so aware of itself that it didn't matter. And that you could believe that happened because it wasn't a conversation that was, oh, we need to have this conversation because these people maybe wouldn't fraternize with these people, or they would. So having it be really diverse and having so many different people from so many different places and look different was so important to me, because I was like, I don't want to make it that's the thing that people talk about. I want it to be so prevalent of this is the town and they are so diverse and they are so accepting of each other that it just is, if that makes sense. And I really wanted to explore that. I love that. I love that you asked that, because I do think that there will certainly be people who will be like, oh, would that ever happen or not? And I think that I try to take people away enough to say, the suspension of disbelief of that this town is any town USA and that it would exist in this world. And just to be a town that looks and feels like anywhere, was really fun actually. And I really wanted to do that. I mean, obviously it's a mission of mine, certainly, just to give people lots of opportunities that don't have opportunities normally. Um, and I think it was fun, especially to hear from the actors, because they were like, I don't ever get to go out for these types of roles. I'm never seen for these types of things. And I love that because it's so important. That's us pushing the needle forward and giving people an opportunity. And why not? It's like, let's see it. Let's see all these people together and see the fun and the wildness that ensues in this town from there.
I say, because when the bunny hop happens, it kind of reminded me of, like, towards the end of Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, when, like, everyone just
Yeah.
kind of came together, and it's like, oh, cool, it's kind of how life should be. Um,
Yeah.
and it's funny
Love
to go
that.
back to, what you called it, just this crazy town. That crazy town is what it would take for everybody to just be. And
Exactly.
it's such a sad reality, but that's where we're at right
Right.
now.
You are absolutely correct. And I love that you said that. And I think really and truly at the end of the day, that's what it is for me. It's like, just let this town be. Let these people be who they are. Allow them to show up in their all their fabulousness, all the ways that they show up, and not have it be the thing that people talk about. Because I think that's a thing, sometimes with films. Obviously people are maybe trying to make a statement, or they're trying to, get a point across. And I wanted it to be just to be. And I love that you found that and that you asked that. It's great.
You're one of the few directors that I've seen in recent years where, when you have LGBTQ actors in your movies, they're not like the stereotypical
Mhm.
uh, parts. Now, okay, yes, in this case, he happened to be, the gay best friend. But, I mean, that's just, it is what it is. But these are just
Sure.
people who are in a horror movie who happen to be gay. It's not, oh,
Exactly.
it's the gay guy or the transgender guy. Like, um, Angela's dad. Erica's dad, sorry. She's bad with names.
Oh, Megan.
Megan's
Megan's
dad.
dad.
She really bad with
Yeah.
names. I'm just making up names. You know, I mean, just just a gay guy. You know,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
nothing to focus on about it. It's just a part of life, and
Yeah. It's
I
just who he is.
love
And
that.
we're all living together and doing it. We're
Yeah,
doing the thing. We're doing the damn thing. you know?
and there's a scene with him, and I won't say when because this will air the day that the movie becomes available. So, have you? Did you ever watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon series?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a scene where he's going through town with his bagel bites, and it reminded me of the cabbage vendor from Avatar, because he's like, "Not the bagel bites." And I got Avatar, like I got Cabbage Vendor vibes with that. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
I love that. I actually did not remember that until now you're just saying it. And that's so fun. I love when, you can watch a movie and it's like, was the filmmaker inspired by that, or I got those vibes. Like people were saying to me, especially like with the bunny hop, that it was very like time warp vibes from Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I love that. And then the dream sequence, that was very especially when we have that dream, and I won't, again, and no spoiler alerts, when Jeannie is going through the forest, and she's going through her dreams, like some Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. And I was like, yes, absolutely, because those are all things that, I'm inspired by, as a director and just as a person and a fan of. And just having people see those things is like, that's really cool, because it's like, that's what you want to do, hopefully, is that you pay ode to the legendary stuff that came before and that you were inspired by.
Oh yeah, and like
Um,
the dream scene that you're talking about reminded me of old episode of MASH where like they hadn't slept in days and they just kept nodding off, and just the way it was shot had had that kind of like haze filter over it,
mhm.
and like just the way it was shot. Um if I could remember which one it was, I'd tell you, and you can go back and you'd see it like shot for shot. It's almost the same cinematography style, but it just
Amazing.
gorgeous cinematography.
Yeah, thank you so much. I agree. Alexa Cha is amazing. She's so, so talented. Loved working with her. This was also her first time ever being a cinematographer on a feature film. So her and I were both first timers together, and we really loved working together. It was like her and I we just gelled and really trusted each other, and really spent a lot of time shot listing the movie. We spent 6 weeks prior to ever shooting every single day at my kitchen table or at Panera Bread. And we shot listed every single scene in the movie because I was directing and acting. I needed to make sure before I ever got onto set that we were set and that I didn't even have to think about those things and that we could just go into it. So it was a real dream to work with her. I really love her, and she was not afraid to move the camera, and I love that, because the thing that I hate most is when a camera doesn't move. And I'm like, it's another character in the movie, and I want people to feel like they're going on that ride with us. And she did it. So,
So before we wrap this up, what's next for you?
well, we're definitely going to be making another Easter film. We've already written the script. This one, I can tell you, is called Easter Bloodier Easter. And it's going to be really, really fun. I don't want to give too much away, but I love movies that are continuations of where we just left off, and that's definitely where we're going to go with it. And it's just gonna go more, and it's gonna dive even deeper into these people's lives, and we're gonna find out a lot more, certainly about Jeanie. So we're definitely working on that. That's in development right now. I have two projects I'm really excited about from my production company, Wally Bird Productions. I am currently working on a movie musical that I am directing. This time I'm not in it. I'm just directing, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's called SAT, the movie musical, Stupid Ass Test. And it is about the SATs.
The stupid
So
ass
it takes
test.
place in high school, obviously. And it is, it's about these teenagers who in their lives, and it's a lot of fun. The music is already written, and fantastic. So we got that going. And then I have another film that is very sort of like a la Bridesmaids style, about three women. And I'm acting in that and producing it, and it's called Got Daddy Issues. And we're very excited. Again, I feel like I really lean toward comedy. Both of these are comedy. I kind of come from that world in musical theater. So I loved doing that growing up. And I'm really diving in as a director and actor of continuing on doing more comedy. It's a genre I really love and enjoy so much. And I'm really excited about that.
Which, final note before wrapping this up, I realized afterwards that it was you. You have an amazing singing voice because you sing the outro song to the movie,
Oh, yeah,
which,
Honey Bunny.
yeah, Honey Bunny is like my favorite song right now. So,
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, because a lot of people don't know that I sang even. Like, this is the first time I'm sort of like, I guess, coming out and going like, "Hi, I'm a singer." I was a musical theater kid, and that's what I grew up doing. And I was a dancer, and then I came to LA and I got into film, and I really got into horror, and I kind of did that for a while. And so people who do know me from indie horror know me from either The Orphan Killer, they know me from Danzig's Verotica or Last Ride with Danzig. So like they're all of a sudden they're like, oh wow, you sing. So it makes me so happy because now I'm getting to utilize that part of me that I love so much. And I'm gonna do more music because everyone is like, do more. And I'm like, okay, I'll do more. So you'll be hearing from me more. But yeah, please stream Honey Bunny on Spotify and Apple and everywhere that you listen to music. It was really fun to do, and I'm excited to do a lot more.
And where can listeners follow you and your production company and keep up to date with everything that you will have coming down the pipe?
Yeah, so you can definitely check out wallybirdproductions.com. That's my production company. You can check us out on Instagram at Wallybird Productions, and that's WALLYBIRD, Wally Bird. And then you can also say hi to me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm at Diane Foster Official. And I love hearing from people. I'm notorious for having tons of DMs. I am absolutely like, DM me, go for it. I love talking to people. I comment back to every single post. Eventually, at some point, I get back to it, even if it takes me a couple of days. But I always feel that if you're going to reach out to me, then it's absolutely my responsibility to get back to you and say, hey, what's up? And thanks for following. So please do. I always love hearing about if you've got a project and you want to know, hey, should I talk to this person? I'm a connector. I love connecting people. So reach out, say what's up, say hello. I'm happy to talk to you.
And listeners, those links will be in the episode description for easy access, and you can find me and other great podcasters over at electronicmediacollective.com, or if you're just looking for me, head over to Facebook, YouTube, and X at Moose Media Inc., or just look up Moose's Monster Mash on Facebook. And Diane, this has been great. Short.
Thank you.
But great. So, in a few months, let's revisit this, and let's let the movie breathe. And I really want to deep dive this with you because there are some things I want to unpack from this movie. So,
okay, I love that so much, and it would be an honor. Truly, I would love to come back. So just let me know whenever. I'm totally down. It'll be fun.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to unpack Easter, Bloody Easter.
So, thank you for coming on, and until next time, Horror Hounds, mash on.
See y'all.
This has been Moose's Monster Mash. Come back for more chills and thrills if you dare.